Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Game vs. BIOS podcast episode 2. Today we're looking at one of the latest creations from One More Level developers called Ghostrunner. Joined by me is everyone in the team. I'll start introducing myself first. I go by Chobo. You will be able to see me in the overlay talking very shortly. Now, let's go on to my co-host, starting with Orange Sus Guy, also known as Eddie.
God damn it, I was muted. Hello, everybody. It is I, Eddie. You might remember me as the guy who was disappointed by Amnesia 2 weeks ago.
That's like half the cast, though.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What?
That's about half the cast that was disappointed by Amnesia last time.
Yeah,
Well,
but I really
75%.
think I really ripped into it. Like, if I have an image as the Amnesia hater.
Okay, moving along to our anime old guy, also known as Dan. Oh, Dan.
Hopefully this time we'll have a better time with this game, honestly. I mean,
You're about to run into world trouble. Alright, going on to our not so orcish looking man, also known as Chris up in the corner there. It is Rob Anna.
Oh, what can I say? It's me, Chris G, in the house. That's my rapper name.
And
SoundCloud. I'm just kidding.
Or I'm just gonna
Yeah.
cut him off. Right
Yeah, no, pull him stage.
We just lost
Kick
half
him.
our audience, so we only have one viewer left. I'm
Kick
sorry.
him.
Yeah. Anyway, we have half of you left. We only had one. And finishing off with Stefan, our anime deer person in the corner.
Hajime
Oh no.
Oh,
We
no.
just lost the last viewer.
We lost everyone.
We're talking to 0 people. Yeah.
Hello, people. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hey people, Seth here.
Copyright.
Oh,
That-
we did.
How is that copyright?
Man.
No way. There is no way.
We don't want to find out either way.
Anyway,
Voice critical here.
moving along, we're looking at the latest game called Ghostrunner. It came out really like not a long time ago, and it is made by a bunch of developers. One name really stands out compared to everyone else. So the main developer is One More Level, and supporting developers were 3D Realms, which were known for Max Payne games, for Prey.
Wait, what?
And
Wait,
Max-
what?
yeah,
Max Payne.
they also co-produced Max Payne with Rockstar.
Wait, which
no.
Max Payne?
No.
Both
I'm more
1 and 2.
What the?
I'm more
They also
surprised.
had a
that you
hand in Shadow Warrior.
I'm more surprised the fact that you didn't mention their mainstay game. 3D Realms.
Which one of them? Because there's a lot of them.
Well, if you really want to go meme-ish, you can go with Duke Nukem.
Yeah. Yeah, they also had a hand in that. They also had a hand in one of the latest disasters of last year, I think it was, Bombshell. Which, oh boy.
Oh, so the appropriate name, I suppose.
This is what we call in the industry foreshadowing for this game.
Wait, what?
I
You know,
mean, just a
They
lot of
helped
things.
with Bombshell, which, well, tanked. And,
It bombed.
Yeah, it bombed. Thank you, Chobo. Pun intended.
I'm just gonna leave now. Yes. So, this is the developers say this is actually the first game that they've ever made. And all right. So, what is this game? Well, on first impression, it is basically the love child between Shadow Warrior itself and Mirror's Edge. That's what it looks like if you look at clips and if you look at any form of gameplay, such as this.
Honestly, I'm gonna go a bit far on a tangent, but let me be honest. When I first saw the character, it reminded me of Warframe, specifically Excalibur Umbra.
I do also feel that the developers kind of cashed in a bit on the cyberpunk theme and on the craze with cyberpunk coming out.
like many other developers.
Yeah, like most other people. Also
Until
have
the
some
delay.
footage of the game running in the background as we talk. It's not terribly related to what we're talking right now, but it may actually could be at some point relevant to it.
I wanna ask the question: what other cyberpunk games were released lately?
Released,
When you
I
said
don't
that-
know many. In development, a lot.
Because the only big name that's like in cyberpunk team is just Cyberpunk 2077, and this I think like this game got lucky that Cyberpunk got delayed.
I know there
Yeah.
are like 3 games that were announced during the cyberpunk craze.
I think there were, but I honestly cannot remember them for the life of me.
Nope.
Alright.
I'm drawing
Moving
a blank
on.
too. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, moving along. First impressions, and what do you think of the game in general?
Can I start?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, so I'm one of the persons that actually enjoys platformers. I can get into it. I like Prince of Persia, which remind me in terms of the wall running. I like Warframe because it really reminded me of that. But this game, the whole concept of you get hit, you have to restart, that shit is hard. And honestly, at the end of the day, it made me feel like it punched me in the face and made me feel like a game journalist.
Yeah, it is possible. Yeah, just for the audience's sake, in case they don't know, the main principle of this game is that you're a cyber ninja. You have to go somewhere and, of course, do some things, as normal people does. Something happened that made you lose your memory, and now you've got to reclaim it and stop the tower you're in, which is basically the last bastion of humanity, from melting down. Now, the main premise of the game and the main mechanic is that everything, including yourself, dies in one hit. This adds a lot of combat to the game. It also adds a lot of difficulty. The good part is that it's one of those, you press one button, you're instantly back to where you were. There's no like loading screens every time you die, Dark Souls, or things like that. So it makes for a, you die and you repeat, and you die and you repeat, and you keep on doing this until you're insane.
I think that's an engine limitation.
Which part?
The whole, you alluded to Dark Souls. You die, the whole game goes into a loading screen. I think that's an engine limitation.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying it because it's like, yeah, so you don't wait like 20 seconds for it to load again. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but I believe that's also something to do with you had to respawn things in order to calculate certain other elements. For
Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's the only thing it's just a mechanic in the game. It's just one of the main features of the game. So respawns are quick, deaths are plenty. Alright, so that's Dan's opinion. What is everyone else's?
Who's next?
I'll go next with this. Well, I really don't like this kind of game. I don't like when you have just one hit and you die. Like this reminds me of Super Meat Boy. It's also a platformer. You also die in one hit from anything. So in this case, you can actually kill stuff. And looking at gameplay videos and stuff, I thought it was like Shadow Warrior. Like, Shadow Warrior, you have a health bar, don't die in one hit. It's bit more action packed. This game is also action packed at times, but not in the same genre per se. So that put me off a little bit. Just not my kind of game. The game seems polished enough for people that would like this type of experience, but in the end it wasn't for me. First impressions, I thought it was cool, but as I got to play it more, I was like,
Eddie, you wanna go or? Oh, I think I'm gonna go last. I got stuff to say.
Okay. Beware the stuff to say that comes out of Eddie.
you got this C4 prepped.
Wait. Quick disclaimer: I'm not gonna destroy this game. No. I
Uh,
have my opinions, but we'll get to that.
by the way, the gameplay in the background is mine, and I do apologize for the quality. And the number of deaths. You'll see that the number stacks and racks up quite quickly. Alright, continue, please. It's you, Stefan. Would you grace us with your
Stephen, please.
opinion?
Excuse me, I had a small hiccup. Yeah, can anyone hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So I thought it looked really cool. I really like the art style. Like I think this is the best of 3D Realms they made. In my opinion, they've kind of, in my eyes at least, redeemed themselves from their previous failures, like Bombshell and the Duke Nukem. Definitely.
Do keep in mind that One More Level is the main developer.
Yeah,
and
but
3D Realms is like just a supporting.
I
studio.
know. I'm talking especially on the project level. Like this feels better than those two games, and also as I said, the art style is really good. Because from what I've looked, from what I researched, One More Level did work on some other indie games, but they were all like 2D side scrollers or like top down Hotline Miami style. So this one, like as you can see on the videos, it looks really polished in terms of art style, and I think it's mainly due to them. Also, since my favorite traversal mechanic is wall running, as you can see from the video, it's a really, I don't know, it's a dream come true. I've never really played Super Meat Boy, so this game is if I would give it a score, I would say it's like a 8.5 out of 10. So it's really good in my opinion.
All right, I guess I'm next. So, first off, I got fooled. I got nicked. I got bamboozled.
Same.
Last week, when we decided on this game, I looked at some screenshots and I was like, oh, looks like Shadow Warrior. I'm gonna enjoy this. Boy, was I wrong. So, I was so excited because I really like Shadow Warrior. I actually got the game that night, started playing. 20 minutes later, I wanted to kill myself. Because what I expected and what I got were completely different things. Now, I don't hate the game. I actually feel like this is a very polished game. We'll get to that when we discuss game mechanics, gameplay, everything. But it was not what I expected, and I do not enjoy these types of games where you have to master a mechanic and your what is it called? Margin of error, that's it. Your margin of error is basically non-existent. You get hit once, you're dead. Again, like Chris said, Super Meat Boy, Hotline Miami, I think also does that. That's not... actually, Mario does it too. Well, in Mario you can get hit twice, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Although I do enjoy Mario, but this is just not the game for me. The mechanics themselves are not for me. Oh, but Eddie, you're a hypocrite. You enjoy roguelikes, and those games are also hard like this, and you die a lot. Yeah, but in roguelikes, death is a main mechanic. In this game, it's an ultimatum. There's a difference, and I hate it. But I do like the game, from an objective standpoint. Those are my initial thoughts.
Alright, I guess I'm last.
Yeah, there's no one left.
Yep, I guess I'm last. So, I went into this game with about the same opinion as Eddie. I quickly learned that it wasn't what I thought. This was before I started playing the game. but I knew I had to propose this game just because of that, because it looked way different from what it actually is. I like the game. I actually got through the game, and I like most of it, with some very real complaints about it, and complaints that are specific to this kind of game. So, all right, we'll get to that later, though. Right now, let's start with what do you guys think of options, menus, UI design, everything?
I mean, I felt like they were pretty standard. I fiddled around a bit before I started playing. Didn't seem anything out of this world, didn't seem minimalistic. It was an options menu. And the UI, I also believe it's a bit minimalistic, but I think they intended that because in a game like this, you want to see as much of the screen as possible.
Yeah.
So having it cluttered like, I don't know, I can't really think of a game with a lot of UI elements right now. World of Warcraft, there you
I
go.
want to see World of Warcraft.
Yeah. If you had an UI like that, especially after modding it and adding interface elements, I don't think you would be able to parkour as good as, well, you're doing right now, Choco. In your little clip.
That's a very good comparison.
Look, I'm trying to be nice, okay? Just let him have this.
I haven't tested it, but
I'm just
given the game's options, I don't know if this game is actually suited for budget PCs, as in they have like so they.
Oh,
it
you mean
has-
optimization, right?
Yes, it doesn't have. I don't know if it actually works on lower end PCs because it's pretty demanding game given it's new.
Well, let's see. Stefan, could you play it?
Yeah, I could.
Ouch.
I had to wait a bit for the game to load, but
I think that's a.
You don't have an SSD, right? You have an HDD.
no. It was a bit rough at times, but
Did you have a constant 60 FPS experience?
no.
Oh, okay. Then, okay. See, that answers the question. It is optimized, but not for lower end PCs. I'm not trying to insult Stefan here, but out of all of us, I think he has the lowest end PC, right?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
pretty much.
He's our control group right now, and we.
Not for long.
Yeah, that's true.
I heard that excuse for like a year and a half.
I'll swear my
Yeah.
vengeance.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to add. As Eddie said, elements. The UI is minimalistic, as I think it should be. You want to see enemies left and right. You want to see where you can dash, where you can jump, wall run, etc. And in terms of options, like a normal 2020 game, I think. Like, had all the good stuff.
To add to what you just said, you can see where you can jump and everything. Yeah, you have some indicators, but at times I felt as if I was looking around to like, where am I supposed to go? Not when the wall is actually, because I know some of them are actually painted with arrows, some are not, and if you're
Yeah,
actually,
but I think that's more
You
related
have
to
a
game
UI.
design rather than UI elements.
I think map goes into UI elements.
If I may add, you do have an indicator to where you have to go. It's a small blip.
Yeah, but I understand what Don is trying to say. Sometimes the indicator told you where to go, but the level design didn't really specify what you could use.
there's actually a level that goes with that, but when we get there.
I mean, I think we're there because I think we're done with options and the UI.
there's one thing I want to add. For any owners of RTX graphics cards right now, or in the future, any graphics card that actually supports ray tracing, this game actually does have ray tracing and the ability to use DXR. The problem is that the option is not in the menu.
Where is it?
The option is usually in the launcher, which I find to be not really a good thing or a good practice. So, in a perfect world, I would like you to have the option in the menu to switch from DX11 to DX12, and afterwards to select ray tracing or not.
Actually, I believe the ray tracing bit is because not everybody has the RTX for ray tracing, and including in the main menu could actually be get more errors because of that. Because somebody may accidentally click on that and just start to create crashes and everything.
Honestly, the game by default comes into DX11 mode, and it would be really difficult for them to click to actually enable ray tracing without switching the game mode. And switching the game to DX12 actually requires game restart.
Like many other
In most
games.
cases. Yeah, this is most cases. This game actually needed to be started directly in DirectX mode 12. So this one kind of goes around it, but I would like it to have in a menu instead of like looking for a launcher. To give me like the option. But that being said, that's kind of a minor nitpick considering the menu itself is pretty serviceable. So I think we can move on now.
Okay.
And moving along directly into graphics. As
Can
I was
I-
saying,
Can I say something about it?
give me a moment. I want to have like one
Alright,
more thing. If you can, you owe yourself to put this game into DX12 mode and turn on ray tracing, because some of the environments in here look absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Alright, that was all I wanted to say. You can go now.
Okay, well, since we're going from options to graphics, it kind of, since my PC is not that great, even I had to lower the textures a bit, and yeah, how the game looked, and even on lower and medium, the game looks, as Chobo said, gorgeous. Like it's I don't know how they did it. Talent, I guess, but still, it looks really good.
Because at the end of the day, the whole graphics things that lower to medium to high is either anti-aliasing or just the resolution of the texture. If certain things that made us at the default resolution, it's still gonna look good.
Yeah, I think the art style helps it, I guess. And a thing I want to add also about UI, like all of these, like it's the game is very colorful. Like it has a lot of flashing lights and stuff like that. The art style really helps this game, and I didn't. The game is really colorful, and it never distracts you in the middle of an action scene. So even though if it's like really gorgeous, you never get distracted. That's all I wanted to say. I'm done.
Okay.
Well, actually, I think this is good because I kind of have the opposite opinion on this. So, well, speaking specifically about graphics and how they look, yeah, I didn't really see any nasty textures or, I don't know, any clipping. So the game does look good. But if we're talking level design and early game stuff, because I didn't get too far in, looking at the clips now, I did see some palm trees. I guess those are later in the game, a bit more color. The only things that stood out to me early game were the puzzle levels when you go into the dream sequence or whatever that is.
Yeah.
You had a
Yeah.
Tetris one early on, I think, and
Yep.
those were cool, those were colorful. But the early stages, they're just not memorable, in my opinion. Like, I get it, it's a dystopian future, cybernetic, cyberpunkish. But just think about, let's say, Cyberpunk 2077. That game looks memorable, the level design, I mean. At least from what I saw from trailers and videos.
Let's hold all judgment about
Going
that.
even further back, Fallout New Vegas. That's a dystopian world. I still remember about everything about the world. Even though it's bleak and not colorful.
It has a piss yellow filter over the screen.
Yeah, but I still remember it. It's still memorable, even though it's not to, let's say, Hotline Miami levels of boomty boomty. Of a rave park.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. At least I think that the early game could have benefited more from the design I saw later on in the game. I think it could have benefited more from that late game design, level design earlier on.
Well,
Because I wasn't really impressed by the environments early on. Like, they kind of looked sameish to me, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget them in a week.
I'm gonna interject on this point. Well, the environment and the level design kind of open up the further you go. For example, from what you described, you were still in the early game, where I do agree there were like lots of vents and pipes and stuff like that. But as you go further into the game, the environment as it opens up, it's more detailed, it's more colorful, because that's what I thought also when I got to the second type of environment, like the city, and that gets a bit more varied. It doesn't just it's not just gray pipes and chambers with vents.
So, basically, what I said. Because I did say, I
It's
feel
no
like the
longer-
game opens
it's no
up later
longer
on.
grayish, greenish, pipe-filled infested slums.
Like, for example, there was that clip earlier with the palm trees. That looked beautiful. I never saw that.
That's in the dream sequences, as you called it. Those are exaggeratedly colorful compared to the rest.
I mean, they could have
And-
used that more during the
and-
game, in my
Mostly
opinion.
And it-
though.
And it's
Yeah.
also story related. Why the environment is like that? Because when you start, you're like right at the bottom of the tower, and as so like at the bottom of the tower, there's like basically slums. There's nothing. There's like it's not really a place to live. And as you go up, the environment changes because you go up the tower. You know, it's more. It's along the lines of like, if I don't know if you saw Snowpiercer.
Nope.
Nope. Have no
No
idea what
movie.
you're talking about.
It's like basically Snowpiercer is a train, and at the back of the train, the poor people lived, and it was basically like a metal box with nothing in it, which is like bunk beds, and that's about it. And as for the further you went into the train, it was like more fancy and more luxurious train cars. So that's basically the same, almost the same with the concept of the tower where
So
the
it's
game
basically
takes
a
place.
standard social hierarchy.
Yeah, something like that. So that
Yeah, that's about the way the game kind of structures it. The reality of it is that everywhere is shit and everywhere is like bad in terms of story. But we'll get to that a bit later. Now, since we talked about it already for a little bit, how about we go to gameplay loop? Unless somebody has something to add.
Nah.
I think just one thing I have to add to the whole virtual landscape. It sometimes could get confusing for where you're looking at, because it's supposed to be like a virtual dream sequence or something. It's not a lot of things should be defined, but there are some moments where I feel as if it's not inherently indicative where you have to go because of that whole blurriness with all the things. I had the moment where I was just pressed against the wall and I didn't see where I had to go.
well, usually the dream sequences are basically a maze puzzle type of thing. So yeah, I think it's designed that way to be.
No, it's
not-
just the whole platforms or something. At some point I couldn't see them
Oh, okay.
because they were not well defined because of the whole aesthetic.
Okay, so that's what you mean. Okay.
Alright, it could happen. Keep that in mind if you're looking for the game itself. Alright, let's keep on going to the gameplay loop. What do you guys think about that?
I think I stated my opinions in the initial
I think
thought
me and
section.
Eddie can. If you finished your thoughts, I'll start because I have some things to add, but I'm sure the boys who finished the game have way more to say. I found the combat itself to be satisfying, even though you die in one hit. When you slice people and you see them, the gore and everything, and the sound design of it feels pretty good. The whole parkouring, sometimes it felt nice, other times I tried to jump to wall run from one wall run space to the other, and sometimes I fail to jump, not because I'm just bad. Maybe I am just bad. That could also be a thing, but I'm pretty sure that was not the case a few times.
No, the
The-
parkour can be finicky. I
Yes.
also had some moments.
Yes,
So,
it happened to
yeah.
me as well.
Had some finicky moments. You just didn't connect properly, or the game didn't recognize that you were on the wall running portion, and you just fell through and died. It was not fun at all for me. But perhaps they'll patch it out, you know. Although it's been a few weeks, but I don't know. Other than that, yeah, just killing people was cool. That's cool.
Alright, I'm gonna go next just because me and Chris are about on the same level hill, the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you guys praise the game afterwards. But for me, the gameplay loop was as stated. You slash people, you die in one hit. It's broken up. After that, you have parkour. You find more people to slash. You get hit, you die. And it is broken up by the dream sequences. I really appreciate that. I feel like it will become very, very old very quick if the gameplay loop would have been only slash parkour. So every once in a while, it's nice to have the dream sequence, the puzzles, parkour puzzles, Tetris puzzles, and everything in between. As for game design, I like the design. As Chris said, I felt good slashing people up, especially after they've killed me 60 times with one hit.
Oh yeah.
So that was a big plus. Other than that, I could talk a bit about the level design, which early game can be a bit confusing, as stated earlier. Sometimes you have a minimap, it tells you where to go, but sometimes you couldn't really tell what you could interact with in the level itself because of all the same-ish colors.
Yeah.
Yes, I know the walls you can run on have little scratches on it. Basic 101 level design for a game like this. I have played other games like this in the past. Mirror's Edge comes to mind. But I don't know, it just didn't click with me that much. And as Chris said, sometimes I would try to jump from one wall to the other, and I stuck the landing. A jury would have given me 3 10s for those landings. I still fell to my death. And that can get frustrating sometimes. But that's basically all I have to say about this. The gameplay loop and the level design, game design.
Oh, especially when you're at the very end before a checkpoint, because you have checkpoints throughout the level. And, you know, I think Ed, you stated off stream that they're generous in their...
Yes, I
they're
do
not
agree.
hard.
I still stick to that opinion. They are very generous with the checkpoints, and I love them for that. If this game ran like Dark Souls, where you die and go back to the last checkpoint, which could have been 20 minutes ago, I don't think I could have completed 1 hour of this game.
Definitely not.
I
Same
would
here.
I would like to go next, if I may.
Oh, one last thing to add. You know those just basic thug blasty boys? Yeah,
Yeah.
those guys sometimes have such a retarded aim, like good aim. So sometimes they're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna fire slowly, I can dodge. You go above their head, they just 360 around, no scope.
Yeah.
Actually,
if you
it's a
don't
good
mind,
thing you
Steph-
stated that. Another thing that I find as a minus for the game is the fact that you die in one hit and it's a first-person game. Because I died so many times from enemies I could not see.
Yeah, that happened.
And yes, I get it. You always have to be on the run, but you see, in a room filled with enemies, sometimes you're on the run, but you're still in their line of sight and in the line of the bullet, and you don't even see it, and you die. So that can feel cheap at times, so keep that in mind if you're gonna buy this game, play this
There's
game.
also an indicator on the UI if somebody's actually targeting you out of your sight. There is actually a red bar that you
I
can see.
couldn't see it.
Well,
I
then
noticed it very late in gameplay, but I did see it. And
I did
was,
not see that. They should have made it bigger.
Yeah, it should be more obvious.
Or
though.
more, I
The
don't
one
know,
in the middle of the
visible.
screen?
Yep.
Yeah,
One
I
in the
noticed
middle
it
of
as
the
well,
screen.
like
Sorry,
relatively
sorry.
early actually.
All right. I'm gonna go first if you don't mind, Stefan. I've got
Okay,
some
sure.
some criticism to actually give for the game design part and the gameplay loop itself. One of the things that hurts a game like this a lot compared to any other type of game is inconsistency. In a game like this, where you need to learn the game, learn the patterns, and go from one side of the map to the other in a certain fashion, even though the game gives you a lot of choice, the problem is that you can go on the same path 2, 3, 4 times in a row. You will not get the same behavior from enemies.
Can you give an example?
For example, you can run into a room. You have 2 walls that you can wall run, and there's an enemy shooting at you. The first time you do it, you run over the wall. The enemy misses you entirely. You get next to him, you kill him. Good. You fail the next jumping puzzle. It resets you. You go, okay, I'll do the same thing. You do the same wall run on the same wall against the same enemy. The enemy will kill you. It makes no sense. Sometimes you will get shot by enemies that missed you 4 or 5 times in a row. Sometimes you will get killed by the same enemy. And as Chris mentioned, sometimes you just get godly aim. Especially if you try to dash in the air without using the slow motion mechanic. I've noticed that the moment I would dash, the enemy would just fire immediately at my position.
But if I may add something, the game does give you the option to parry. Although I did also find that a bit inconsistent at times.
Yeah,
but it was. But even though I stated, oh, you fall from walls or stuff like that, the actual parkour really flows very well. All of my complaints were far and few between. For the most part, I actually enjoy the parkour. So
yeah, the way you move and when there's no enemies around, barring the not once in a moon, but like once in a while, you actually do get a wall that you do not register the wall run on, so you just fall to your death. And it would feel really cheap and really bad if the checkpoints weren't as well designed as they are. Which I can give props to them, because the checkpoints, as I stated before, and as you can see on video, there's multiple times I fail, but the reload itself is like there's no load time, there's no nothing. You just press a button and you're back into the action.
Yeah,
and
when it comes to flow, it's consistent. The flow is consistent.
And it helps a lot that later on in the game, though, you mentioned parrying. Honestly, parrying is kind of a like, I wouldn't say it's useless as a feature, but it really becomes useless because parry.
I think I know what you're talking about. I also found it a bit useless against the SMG enemies. So the first type of enemy, pistols. Then you get the blue boys that shoot blue bullets at you. With them, I couldn't really parry. Because I would parry a few bullets, I die to the other bullets. So
parrying comes into play much later with a different enemy, actually.
Yes. There's also enemies that come in through gameplay at certain points where you can't really parry them. There's a certain type of enemy. No, actually, there's
multiple.
3 types of enemies, I think, unless I'm missing something that you cannot parry.
The jumpy guys.
It's the jumpy guys. It's the giant mech that shoots a giant wave at you, and it's also the
bomb.
Yeah.
Can you parry the bosses? Because I know there are bosses in this game. I didn't get to them, but can you?
Yeah, some of the bosses have. There's. Let me just spoil this. There's 3 bosses in the game.
Wait, hold on. Just 2 seconds. I think we should let. Should we talk about the bosses as a story or like gameplay perspective? Because
I won't talk about gameplay because it's spoiler territory.
Yeah, I mean
more than I
just wanted to know if you can parry them, because we were talking about parrying. Don't say anything about their mechanics, specific mechanics or stuff like that. We'll save that for the story elements.
Most bosses revolve around you parrying something to beat them.
There's like there's 3 types of bosses. One is a platforming boss, one is a combat boss, and one is a I don't know how to describe it.
Combination of both.
but not. Yeah.
I just asked a yes or no question, and now you guys are telling me everything about the bosses. Let's save that for the story, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's-
let's that, man.
Actually,
no,
let's not talk about that because it's kind of spoilery and kind of ruins the fun in this game to have to know like what kind of bosses they are.
All right.
Yes, you can parry some of the bosses. Not
All right. The
all
game
of
has
them.
no bosses. We've decided.
Yeah.
God has
Boss don't
spoken.
exist. We're
The whole
joking,
game is a
haha,
boss.
lol, kick W.
So, since I'm pretty sure Stefan will defend the game because he liked it, let's have Dan say his perspective, and then Stefan goes last because I'm pretty sure he'll have a lot to say on this topic. How about it?
One of the things that a lot of you, actually all of you forgot to mention regarding the checkpoints is, should you actually decide to end it for a day and then come back the next day, it doesn't continue from the actual checkpoint but from the beginning of the mission.
Really?
Yes.
I actually
Oh.
didn't notice that because I
Yeah,
kind of
me
played it
neither.
more than
I actually thought when I resumed the game the next day, I was at my checkpoint.
No,
I didn't
give
notice
any-
it.
to give an
Well,
example,
hell.
there's a point where you have to go to through with a train, and the beginning
the
of the
part that's about to be on screen right now.
We actually have the train, ladies and gentlemen.
The damn train.
yes,
All you had to do was
I'm gonna
follow
get
the
to that
damn train.
I'm gonna get to that, and I actually have a lot of things to say about the fucking train. But then again,
There is one thing I need to mention then before you start your run, exactly specifically about this train level. For me, this level was horrendous. This was probably my worst level, just because every time I would step, it would kind of jerk me forward and backwards, which I find.
I mean, yeah,
really-
that's momentum, right?
Yeah, I had
Yes.
a momentum issue sometimes as well.
This
Well, no,
was-
I mean that's what would happen on a real train. So props to them for thinking of that.
Honestly, no. In a real normal moving train, once it's moving at a steady rate, you could walk from one side of the train to the other and not feel this.
Yeah, but maybe this train is just jerky by nature. It is a
Yes, it
dystopian
felt like
future.
the train itself was very jerky in terms of movement, but that wasn't reflected in the visuals of the train. So I felt like it was like the physics engine itself wasn't handling the level properly, which was pretty bad for the level itself,
not only
especially in a
that,
game
but the
where
same issue
positioning
happens at the end.
I didn't feel the issue at the end. Well, no, I'm lying. I did feel the issue, but it felt different, and it felt like it kind of made sense for it to be there. in a way
Yes,
that-
but at the same time, the same problem arises, and
It wasn't exactly the same problem here. The problem that I felt was that it was a jerky movement, which can actually really influence you when
no,
you're
no, no,
like.
no. What I'm trying to say is that it's another problem that arises because of with that level. Here is just moving. The problem I have is with specifically the wall run mechanic on the hang platforms. There are at certain points there are platforms that are just literally in the air, hanged by some cranes. Usually, regarding the being unable to register properly the wall run mechanic, you can actually glitch the whole thing. I would say glitch exactly, but still, you get to the corner, and instead of registering as a wall run, despite you should, it just stops and it starts hanging, and you can actually climb the platform. It screwed me over so many times later down the line.
Yeah, I could see how that would actually screw you over. But what
Especially
I'm
the
talking
last
about-
level, because the mechanic actually comes back there, and because it's the whole virtual reality thing, it actually screwed me over because I got stuck in the platforms.
Yes, I did actually get stuck. The last level, honestly, the last parkour level in the virtual world is probably the game at its worst.
Actually, both sections of the parkour there are just horrible.
Yes, I honestly agree with that because here's the problem. Yeah, as you'll see very shortly, you'll notice that right now what you have to do is actually jump from platform to platform with like a death field coming behind you. You can vaguely see it in the recording. It's like the red grid wall that's coming behind you. The problem is that these platforms are moving towards you. And the way the physics engine reacts is that you have to basically defeat the momentum of the platforms themselves to be able to run. The problem is that you can only get to some of these platforms via dashing, as you can see me doing. It's usually the moment the screen turns a bit gray and then comes back to color. The problem is that the game physics, the moment you stop dashing, the game physics basically kills your momentum.
Oh yes.
So you will find yourself like not being able to reach platforms, or like you just saw in the video, me glitching into a platform and just falling to my death.
Speaking of momentum and platforms, that actually, by the standard keyboard layout, because I play keyboard, and I use my left hand's pinky finger, it hurt my finger at the last level because of the layout and the whole mechanic with dashing from wall to wall, because I didn't have enough momentum. At the end of the day, when I finished the game, I actually had to put ice on my hand because it hurt.
Well, that's
I don't think that will be the case for most people. But it's good to know.
That's a bit
However, I have another thing to add, which I forgot to mention. This game is not going to be that good for people who have motor issues in terms of to make twitch reactions or something like that.
Honestly, if you try and play this with a controller, you are insane.
Yes.
I don't want to be mean, but this game was made with mouse and keyboard in mind, obviously, and you would not be able to turn or do most of the stuff that you have to do to progress in certain levels.
I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that are far better with the controller. They feel more comfortable with it. But
yes,
each their own. Like,
yes, I'm not saying that, but there's like moments in the game where you have to do like 180-degree turns in matters of seconds.
I mean, maybe they have an option on the controller to press a button, like in Resident Evil, where you do an 180-degree turn when you do
give
something.
An example where you have to actually have a good reaction time and speed with the camera is when you have the shuriken and you have to shoot certain platforms while moving.
Yeah.
Another thing I need to say is that, well, this game can get a bit frustrating with certain enemies that they don't even mention. For example, they present you the sword guy, and you actually have a mini tutorial where it says parry him, just so you can stop. For some people, if you didn't realize it, I realized that you can parry bullets relatively early because by pure accident.
Yeah, I happen to do that as well.
But
Slicing.
Parrying bullets is actually a mechanic that is not explained in the game at all.
no, you only will learn about the mechanical parrying only after you encounter the sword guy, and the sword guy is like almost near the half of the game, which is not a
The
good
way I learned about parrying was because now and then, every time after you complete a cyber void level, dream world level, you actually get you actually get an unlock on your skill tree, and every time you get a bunch of new abilities, you basically have to play a form of Tetris to select the slots for your abilities.
Yeah, I was about to say that. And
The way
you have one of those enhancements that you can deflect bullets with your sword back into the enemy. You need to aim towards where you want to hit them, basically.
Yes, that's how I knew parrying bullets was a possibility. I found that very early on, but I kind of avoided using the mechanic because honestly, later on in the game, it's kind of useless.
It is.
There's so many enemies that have way too many methods of just like not caring about bullets that you're better off just like finding a course that works for you and just moving along with it.
Well, parrying aside from the sword guy and the normal blaster guys that just showed once, it's kind of useless because other enemies just have an increased attack, fire attack range.
It's not like Sekiro where you can just, mash.
Also,
right click or something
question to all of you regarding the SMG guys that just continuously fire. you learn in a virtual sequence that you can actually dash with one of the abilities with their bullets as a rope towards them. We're actually able to do that.
Yes, I was.
I was.
I don't think I unlocked that, so can't
It's
really
the
say
first
much.
ability. It's the first ability.
It is the first ability. I've done it a bunch of times. I've actually used it
Oh,
to solve puzzles.
Wait, I unlocked that, but I didn't know you can use the bullets as a string.
It's in the tutorial.
You don't use the bullets as the string. You can actually cut the bullets whilst you're dashing
Oh,
towards
that
the
I
enemy.
figured out. No worries about it. Well, since
Yeah.
we're dogpiling, and I feel bad about saying this, can I just ask, what type of sadistic motherfucking dev decided to put shields on the shield generators? Because when I saw they presented the little, I don't know, ball thing that put shields on different enemies. I was like, okay, new mechanic, gotta get around it. I like it. Then the next level, or 2 levels afterwards, same ball with a shield, with another ball giving it a shield. I was like,
Yes,
You-
but then you get
cheeky bastards.
But then you get a shield ball that gives to another shield ball that gives to an enemy that has a shield.
Yeah, basically, you get a shield, and you get a shield. Everybody gets a shield, and I get, I don't know, depressed because I just died.
Yo, dog, I heard you like shields.
Yeah. It kind of gets okay because you can kind of path away to get like to the first shield and then to the second one and then start killing.
Oh no, I agree. You can. It's doable. Trust me. I know it's doable. I just don't have the talent or patience to do it. At
One
some,
other issue that I
well,
have.
depending on the level, because there were levels where the shields were outside enemy range or field of vision, and there were levels where the shields were right next to somebody. And
Yeah.
guess what? You want to cut the shield? Well, good luck, because I'm gonna shoot you about 20 times before you actually get to me to cut the shield.
Actually, I didn't. At one point, I did not see. Maybe it was a graphics glitch on my end. I was not able to see the string from which the shield ball emitted it, so I was unable to find it because I had to scout the entire room just so I can kill it.
I mean, I just wanted to mention it because I find it both funny and sadistic. Because when I saw the shield on a shield, I was like, okay, whoever did this, you deserve both a raise and also a spanking because I hate you.
A place in hell.
Actually,
Yes,
one
there
of
are-
the enemies. If we're on the enemies, I actually hate the. I would say one of the later.
The
introduced
crawlers,
character-
you mean?
Yes, the bomb guys.
Oh
Literally,
god.
the bomb guys from Serious Sam make a cameo here because.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: they not only crawl towards you fast, but they also crawl on walls. So even if you try to escape them by wall running, they're still following you, and you can actually heal them. Another problem is.
Is it the same?
No,
That's in the
no,
Serious
it's
Sam games.
actually
No,
makes-
they kind of do a skittering sound like a fucking sick spider or something.
Yeah, like something from Silent Hill 2 or something.
Well, that's not
But-
as fun. I remember in Serious Sam, I actually liked hearing those guys scream.
Yeah, but Serious Sam is actually is like a parody game. Then again,
Yes, I know. I'm aware.
one of the things that I'm a bit miffed is that they introduce a power up, literally the last power up to deal with these kind of enemies, a bit like 3 to 4 levels after you encounter them, and it's actually a lot difficult to avoid them.
Yeah, they're honestly a kind of a cheap tool to just make your life miserable. And honestly, I didn't like the idea of them because they're an enemy that you can't actually fight. The way you defeat them is just by literally running away from them until like a time
Or you
Yeah,
just
but
up
I
and they
think-
die.
Or you
So I
just
think-
use the last ability to detonate them.
I think aside from Dan, who likes games like Super Meat Boy and stuff like that, I don't think this game was designed for us. I think it was designed for a different type of demographic.
I can tell
Like-
you for who was the bub.
Yeah, I don't know.
Speedrunners.
Yeah.
True.
Maybe I'm leaning more towards people who like mastering mechanics in a
No,
game.
this game is 100%.
Because I'm pretty sure there are people
pointed
out there who
towards
can now
speedrun.
play this game front to back without getting hit once.
There are
Yeah.
videos out there, but here's the thing. This game, for me, it felt that was made for someone who actually enjoys speedrunning because the whole go fast, kill fast, don't get hit.
Yeah.
Maybe, but you
Yeah.
can say the same thing about Super Meat Boy.
Yeah,
And I don't think that game was made for speedrunning. Or with speed, but
despite the fact that
speedrunning
it
in mind.
actually has certain it has things such as the counters to actually see the whole. I would argue.
Well, yeah,
that,
but that's more for people who like to compare high scores afterwards.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a dick marriage and costs.
Again, it's about mastery. That's what I feel. Like this game was made for people who enjoy mastering the mechanics of a game and then taking it to its limits, like speedrunners, for example.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
All right, so we dogpiled on this poor game for a long time. I'm pretty sure Stefan over there in the corner took notes and is ready to rebuttal everything we had to say. So, Stefan, do you want to take the stage?
Okay, guys, don't listen to these negative Nancy's over here.
What the hell?
What the fuck is that?
Stefan,
Come
what are
on.
you doing?
Oh, no, he died again.
God himself decided you are not defending this game on my
Yeah,
watch.
no,
son.
I died a little on the inside.
Okay, anyways, continue your idea, please.
Stefan.
Stefan.
I might have it's fine, I think it's back.
Have an aneurysm?
Yeah.
I think your game is having your Discord's having
As I said, I mean, it's not us. It's God himself telling him, son,
Yeah,
you're not
just
gonna
saying
defend
me.
this game. You're just gonna not talk.
Alright.
So, this game, with all the complaining in the world, can be completed with a shitty PC, with all the inconsistencies, with all the glitches and bugs. It can be completed. It's I'm the living proof of it.
I mean,
We never argued that it cannot be completed.
Yeah, I've also finished the
It's-
game.
Yeah, I
so-
think,
So did
I
I.
think the
It's,
argument we were trying to make was more that the experience itself can feel cheap
I
at
didn't-
times. Not
I didn't-
every
I didn't
time.
finish my idea.
Yeah, easy
Uh,
finish.
The thing is, like, I don't know if I'm a masochist or something,
You
but
are.
I enjoyed this game.
You are.
Like, maybe it's because of what you guys said about the well constructed checkpoints that didn't make me over to fill with frustration, but having the option to instantly retry a room again, it was perfect. I'm just gonna say that they gotta patch the wall running. Like, come on, it's the core mechanic of the game, and it's really inconsistent. Like, as you guys said,
It's one of the core mechanics, not the core mechanic.
Well, technically it is, because it is
It
part of the
is.
parkour mechanic,
You
which
can actually.
technically...
the majority of this game you spend it run wall running. So yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying it. They really need to patch the sticking, because that's the obvious bad part. Like, when I usually happen to wall run, then jump onto another wall, and it just wouldn't stick, and I just fall to my death. And also, like, why would you put suiciding, exploding guys, like, in your game when you die in a one shot, and you don't even have a ranged weapon?
Because
that
CBT
was-
wasn't enough.
That was so annoying. Also, what you said, Dan, with that you meet those guys before you have the actual upgrade to deal with them. Actually, that is not true. The fourth ability is not even the best way to
Yeah.
dispose of them.
It might not be, but it's a mechanic intended for them.
It's intended, but it's not the best. That's what I'm saying. It's usually the second ability. Also, I did.
Honestly, hold on for a second. About the second ability, by the way, you can see how your abilities are in Tetris Puzzle on screen. You just saw it. Secondly, talking about abilities, because nobody really touched on them. other than Dan saying the first one was meant for dealing with.
That-
Honestly, after I got the second ability, I haven't used any other ability to try and use it.
Yeah,
Actually, I
that's what I
use
was-
the third a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, honestly, it feels like after you get the second ability, the first one becomes kind of useless because it's just another dash, and you can make your build to have already 3 dashes, and it kind of puts you in a vulnerable position. Also, the third one takes, I don't know, it feels like it's way too slow to use it, so I would just end up using the second and the fourth ability, for the enemies that are like way too cumbersome to deal with, and just yeah.
Especially since the second ability has a thing where if you kill 2 or more enemies at the same time with
Yeah,
one
it gets-
ability, it gets instantly refunded.
Also, a big problem that I found is the focus regeneration for your abilities. Like I found it like the fact that I don't know if it's because I didn't choose the right upgrades or something on the Tetris board, but the fact that you need to kill at least, I don't know, 5 enemies to get 1 charge of your ability, I find that's really not great.
Not optimal.
Yeah, but on that note, this game is definitely made to be finished with no upgrades and no abilities. Literally,
okay,
I
can I-
wait a second.
Sure.
Literally, I spent like half the game not using any ability and just using my sword, wall running, and slow-mo ability. Guys, this game, the slow-mo feature carries the whole fucking game.
I'm pretty sure that's why you get it like instantly.
Yeah, exactly, because the ability to slow-mo while dashing is really useful. Also, you guys said that when you dash in midair, it kills your momentum. I have found while I was playing, I found out that actually, if you slow mo, it actually goes your momentum, your inertia to 0. But if you dash instantly, the inertia still carries over. So yeah, that's just a thing you need to get used to.
Actually, the problem with the whole dashing and losing momentum, it's not the problem of the whole dashing slow motion mechanic. It's just the way the whole mechanic interacts with wall running. That's the whole problem.
No, the wall running problem, I think it's the only problem with wall running is honestly the sticking part.
Well, that's the
Also-
problem. The way you interact because of the dash creates that problem itself.
Not really. You don't. It's. I've noticed that you don't need to dash to have that problem. You just even if I just jump straight from a corner wall to another corner wall,
Yeah, I didn't
it's
encounter it.
it happens the same. Also, the train level, I personally didn't find any problem with it. It's just I found out that you can't dash forward when you're at the top of the train. You can dash left to right. So that's a bit of a trick, pro strategy to solve.
Skater Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
This man
it-
over
it's either
meta
it-
gaming.
pro
Yeah.
builds to solve that level easily. Just dash left and
Yeah.
right, and again, slow mo, guys. Slow mo is the answer to everything.
Are you sure the slow mos from the dash were for your PC, not handling a game?
Yeah, honestly, the
should
slow mo
lag.
felt useful until enemies started headshotting me immediately as I got out of slow mo.
Also,
At which point I said, nah.
I haven't played enough to realize how slow-mo affects the AI, because if I'm pretty from what I observed, it's basically the slow-mo slows down the aiming of the AI. That's why, and also the projectile. It slows the projectiles in a way. And
It's called slow mo.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
mean, if it didn't, it would be useless.
Yep.
what I mean by it is, it's relatively way slower. Like it's proportionally way slower than when you're moving normally. Because I a lot of the times I found myself that my slow mo would like end up with the finish right at when I'm in front of the guy that's shooting me, and the bullet just instantly kills me, right? So yeah.
I feel like I'm having an aneurysm.
Because I have a lot to say.
But you just went in circles
Yeah,
for
but
the
you
last
just
3
spent-
minutes.
3 minutes
Yeah.
here explaining slow-mo and how it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
How normal
Precisely.
slow-mo works. So like
Yeah, I know. I've played Max Payne. I know how slow-mo works.
we all know,
No,
everyone
it's-
knows how slow motion works.
Have you played Doom Eternal with the super shotgun with the hook, with the grappling hook, and just have the slow motion ability? That's the whole thing.
No, I didn't play it that way.
Well, I
Oh.
did. Actually, the only enjoyable part of that game.
I fucking did. Yeah, anyway, back to what you're saying. Okay, so what you're saying is that enemies aim slower when slow motion is done, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
normal. And you're saying what? That they aim better because they have more time to aim, basically?
What I'm saying is, usually I found out Chris mentioned that when he was I don't know who, I think Chris was that the enemy was doing like a 360 instantly when they were jumping over them.
it was above
Yep.
it, and then they just shot me instantly.
Yeah, I found that the enemies are like basically turrets in a way. You know, it's like how do I say this degree? Yeah, 360 degree like turret radius, and
Yes.
it's wait, I'm trying to get to a point. It's it slows them way down exponentially. That's just what I was about
What are
to
you
say.
going to this? Because you just went into a circle for 5
Yeah,
minutes.
it's that's
These
it.
Okay,
people
let's
watching this
move
are
on.
probably confused.
Yeah, I think
Move on.
Any other points
Yeah,
you're gonna...
let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Yes,
Wait.
let's move on.
Any other points you wanna get across, Stefan?
no,
Aside from slow-mo, because please stop this torture.
My mind is
slow motion.
My mind cannot comprehend your 5D chess moves.
Slow motion.
Yes, I agree with you. It is a thing. And when you describe it, it's like it's not a thing, but also a thing while a thing. So.
No, OP. I mean.
Oh, OP. My bad.
You could have just said that for like a couple of seconds. That would just be it.
The slow motion
I'll,
is really
I'll,
good.
okay, I'll stop simping for slow motion now. You guys
Alright.
can.
This man over here trying to be Stephen Hawking, I swear.
Jesus Christ.
Explaining the relativity.
Anyway, let's move on to sound design and.
No, wait. Before we move on, anything else you want to add, Stefan? Any other points you want to get across?
No more slow mo.
Oh yeah. No, I'll say that.
I love this so much.
I'll say
Jesus
I'll say it at the
Christ.
story part. I'll say it at the story part.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's move on to sound design and OST.
Can I just say something and I'll be quick about it, because honestly, with sound design, I don't have too many opinions.
Yes.
So honestly, it's just, I believe it's called Electro, or something. It's fitting cyberpunk-ish. Honestly, after a while, I stopped noticing it, and I just started inputting rules of nature on loop for like an hour until I got tired of it.
Well,
Alright.
you kind of missed on it. I
Yeah.
really like the sound.
I'm not saying no. When I actually heard it and I actually felt the music. It's fitting. I'm not saying it. I just stopped noticing it because I was too frustrated to end the level.
Yeah,
Honestly?
you just so focused on the gameplay. And just the
Yes.
music.
I love the sound. I obviously noticed it every time it played because it usually was really well flowing with the action, and the sound design parts on weapons and when you get hit, when you die, when you hit somebody, when you kill somebody, when you deflect bullets, it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. The sound effects
Yes,
are
yes.
really, really good.
Yeah,
One thing
that's
I
what I
have
was
to
gonna
note
say.
is that, for example, the blaster guys, the fun enemies, you actually have a sound indicator if you cannot see them when they fire. So that's a good visual sound indicator when you have to actually dodge it out of the way or just go in a zigzag to avoid it.
All right. So I'm gonna piggyback off of Dan. What I gotta say is sound design. Only thing I remember is the sword. So the sword feels
Same.
heavy, feels good when you hit, both in sound and in animation. Other sound designs, can't really say I cared for them much. They seem okay-ish. I don't remember much of them. I didn't play a lot of the game. As for OST, I don't know. For me, it did not click. It was just too bland. Basically, I feel like I can write on YouTube cyberpunk music, and every video would sound like the soundtrack for this game.
Or if
It
you want to
wasn't
spice it
anything-
up, you just go with Metal Gear Rising and just be done with it.
Yeah, but that's not really
Yeah, but that's really cool.
in the same genre of music as this. That's more rock music, progressive metal, I guess.
I know, actually.
This
put
one
the
is
whole-
more cyberpunkish, as you said. Again, bland. That's the theme, reoccurring theme I have with this game. It's bland in many areas.
Can I interject?
Wait, but let me just right off of Eddie's back now.
Oh, we're making a human centipede over here.
Oh god, no.
Oh yes, and you're the back done.
Actually, he's in the middle, but whatever.
No, he was. No, wait. Actually, he's the head. He was first. I'm piggybacking off of him, and Chris
I
is
was
piggybacking off of me.
I
No,
was first.
Chobo was first. He's in the...
Alright, let me finish.
You guys are in the
Anyway.
middle. I'm at the end again.
I'm gonna edit this shit out. Fuck this.
No, don't edit it. Keep
No.
it in.
No, no.
Keep
No.
it in. We're gonna vote right now.
Anyways, please back to the topic.
Right, so sound design is great, sound effects are well done. OST I did not remember one bit, as Eddie says. It felt bland listening first few couple of hours of the game. I didn't really nothing stuck with me, nothing to
It was the same 2 bars over and over again for most of the tracks.
You go on YouTube and search, oh, let me hear this OST, I'm gonna add it to my playlist. Nah, not for me. Again, this may be subjective. Chobo said he liked it, so room for
Also, if I may add, keep it in, Daddy.
What?
That was for Dan. Keep that in.
Okay.
Back to the topic.
What the? Jesus God.
Yeah,
Just
you-
making
you
you're
probably
just making my
sexual
job
awakened
harder.
If they're watching this, someone was sexually awakened by you, Eddie.
I highly doubt that. If they're watching this, they have already been sexually awakened.
There you go. Yeah, that's for me. You can go, Steven.
Okay, so the genre is actually synthwave. Streamer puts glasses on nose. You know, it's actually.
Actually.
But I do the actually every level has a different song. And
Well, that's sad because to me it all sounded the same for the first 2 or 3 hours.
yeah, it depends on the taste, honestly. Because it was the most noticeable when the level starts. Like the music is really popping then, but after the action starts, sadly I couldn't hear it anymore. It was like white noise at one point. There was like no. How should I say, crescendo in the middle of the level. No,
Because the music is not dynamic.
I mean, that's what I said. Same 2 bars repeated. But I will say this. Maybe that was intended because they didn't want the soundtrack to subtract from the game and the experience.
But
Because it's not really that bombastic. It's not to Raiden cutting a mech in half while Rules of Nature plays in the background. It's not meant to be cinematic. It's meant to be experienced.
it's atmospheric. It's atmospheric, basically. But by no stretch of the imagination is the soundtrack bland or bad, honestly. Because I don't know. It just fits. I don't know.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
just
know. It
all
is-
generic.
It anymore.
It is bland as long as you said it became white noise to you and you liked it. That's the definition of bland.
Yeah, but it made me wanna search the soundtrack on YouTube and listen to it. You know.
No, honestly, no.
No.
In 2 weeks, I want you to tell me how many times you listen to the soundtrack.
Oh, you like the OST?
All right.
Name every OST,
Yeah,
every song in the
Yeah,
movie.
Note. I'll keep you up on that.
I like the one.
I'll
from
make sure to
I'll
not
come back
remember
to
it because
I'll
it's not.
come back in 2 weeks.
Aqua Crescendo. That was a really cool one. Yeah, we love that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, remember that one that went.
Oh yeah,
It-
dude, that was the shit. That
Wave.
was a snapper.
It's synthwave. It's not supposed to
Well,
have like.
my throat isn't synthwave, so synthwave. My bad.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving along.
Well-
All right, this part's gonna be interesting. Story.
Really? Though?
All right. This time I'm gonna go first because basically I'm gonna
I'll
be
go
quick.
second.
VA not manageable. It was good. Nothing groundbreaking. No Mac Mercer or other very well-known voice actors that really put spirit into the game. Basic voice acting. I didn't feel like they got them off Fiverr or anything, but they weren't the greatest voice actors ever. They did their job. They did it good. That's
wasn't-
voice acting.
bad at all.
Story, I only played 3 hours, but from what I gathered in those 3 hours, seemed like generic, bad guy took over this world. You have a good guy trying to help you. I'm pretty sure the good guy betrays you at the end. I'm not sure about that. Also, by the way, spoiler alert in case you don't want to hear spoilers about the game. Just making sure, alright?
Yeah.
Back to the
And,
topic.
and everything Eddie said is like not even close. But
I mean,
What?
Look,
Hold
Wait,
on.
it's kind
when you
of
have
Wait,
a big head
what?
called when you have a big head called the architect,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
he
I can
is
glean information
spot
from
on.
that.
He
It's
is spot on, actually.
He's literally like.
story-wise, that's what I felt. It felt predictable, generic. But again, I don't, like I said for Amnesia, they sacrificed scares for story. In this game, I feel they sacrificed story for gameplay and experience.
It's a good decision to make, I think.
Yes,
No
the
one
direction
has
of the
No,
game is solid. They knew what they wanted to do with it, and story was not a big part of it. The story, like one of the fifth wheel.
It's there
What-
to encompass, to envelop the whole package, but you remove it and it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay,
this game works without a story or with a story. You could have had a princess in a castle go save her.
Yeah,
So
it could
can
be
I-
Would have
Mario.
worked.
can I explain the story, please?
No,
Wait,
no, you can.
let me
No.
finish.
No,
Let me
because you're
continue.
going on tangent with slow mo for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're gonna go.
Well, anyway, I'm done. Those were my opinions. Not a lot of them. Chris, you have the floor.
I thought as you did, as you explained, that it's just the generic god complex that this this architect created these Ghostrunners and they made them to be some sort of assassins or peacekeepers or really whatever they wanted them to be, to enforce law. Yeah. And then generic chick that betrays her partner and is like, nope, I'm gonna control this tower, fuck you, fuck everybody. Architect gets shut down, locked in the prison. You save him right at the beginning of the game. I think it's the first level basically. And I think that's kind of where I left off. And there were other few tidbits of story, but not that important.
Okay, so for the guys who didn't finish the game, yeah, you're mostly correct. but it's a little more. It's not a generic chick, but
If you're gonna say it's nuanced, I'm gonna slap you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually
gotta-
gonna
I
slap
gotta
you because
say-
I actually
I
finished
finished
the game.
oh
No,
my god,
no,
guys,
no.
can you let me finish one thing?
No, because you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
It is literally the most generic story ever. It is by far the worst part of the game. The part where they obviously didn't pay attention because it's not necessary. It's just a driving forward point.
Not even that.
It is very
it's
clear from the
cyberpunk.
beginning who is bad and who isn't bad. And
Yeah.
you expect the twist that
I mean,
happens
the
at the
architect
end.
says, what about this chick? I mean, you as the Ghostrunner talking, they're like, oh, this chick seems helpful. Nah, she's just a disposable asset. She's
Guys,
garbage, whatever.
guys, it's basic cyberpunk. Like, what can you expect from a godlike AI to understand human empathy? Like that's
She was human too, though. But whatever.
No,
I'm talking about the architect. Like
Yeah,
the
but
guy-
she
This
was
is not
human at-
basic
no,
cyberpunk.
that's
Cyberpunk
the
is
architect. He was not human. The architect was an AI from Inception. It's
Yeah, you didn't pay attention to the story. I see.
Yes.
no. What are you talking
Yes.
about, dude? No,
Yes.
no.
I showed the picture with him
Can I-
being,
can I-
you
can
know,
I-
a human.
Can I freaking tell the story then? Okay,
no,
so-
you
so
cannot
the-
because that's way too much spoilers.
we
I
said
mean, we are in the spoiler section now, so
All right, frick it. I'll tell it because it takes you 5 years to put it together. So basically, what happened is this guy implanted his entire memory into an AI, so he could be replaced in case he died.
Yeah, so
He
wasn't-
gets killed
so he
because
wasn't a human.
somebody didn't go with his idea of what's happened outside. By the way, the outside world has been destroyed except this one tower that's filled with basically scientists and engineers, and they're all working together to keep the tower together, whilst everything outside is basically toxic air.
And trying to find a
Now-
solution to get outside and re-inhabit it.
Wait, so from what you said, how was I wrong about the architect?
He
It was
said he was an AI from the
'cause
Inception, which was not.
He wasn't an AI from the inception. He
You
was
mean
the person who
Adam,
implanted.
his creator. He created him. Yeah, sure. It's a copy of his like conscience, but it's still an AI. It's not a. It
oh
wasn't.
no, this man's going into Soma territory right now.
Oh my god.
Still like
For
He
a very
was a
specific
person,
reason.
He
Look,
was
You're
a
both
person.
right and right at the same time. But as Chobo said, it's his consciousness put into AI form.
it's
So
even
you can say either it's him or it's a creation. Same stuff. This is not a
It
philosophy
doesn't matter
podcast.
actually.
it's
Yeah.
even debated in the game about if he's human or not. You know, like.
I mean,
it's-
I'm pretty
it's
sure in every cyberpunk story, if you have AI, there's gonna be some debate whether or not they're. I mean,
Human or not.
Detroit
yeah.
Become Human comes to mind.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like it's a basic
No,
cyberpunk story. That doesn't mean it's bad. Like, of
You wanna know
course,
the
like,
you
It
wanna know
is
the problem?
quite
You wanna know
terrible.
you wanna know the problem with your logic right now is because the whole spiel with Adam and his AI with the architect only comes into play literally at the end. And up until that point, it doesn't have any impact on your main goal.
Yeah, but again, as I said earlier, I don't think they cared that much about the story.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just wanted to make it, to have it there. And if you could have put anything, you could have. What was that John Tron song with the camel and the bird?
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Well, it's one of his memes,
Sounds
one of
trippy.
his most famous memes.
it's
With the
yeah,
Basically, you could have had any type of story here. It didn't really matter. What matters is the gameplay, the experience.
yeah,
I
like
didn't
the story is
say
flavoring, like the icing on the cake. You know.
Yeah,
This is not icing.
No.
I mean,
This
if
is
it's
not
icing,
right.
it's pretty cheap icing. That's the
Yeah.
whole point. It's not bad. I don't think, at least I don't want to
It's
come across
it's
as,
not-
oh, the
it's-
story is bad. I was expecting Nietzsche? Yeah, Nietzsche type levels of philosophy and some very, very Dostoevsky storytelling. No. I'm just saying it's planned.
no.
This
Is
what I'm
that
try-
bad? No, because that's not the direction of the game.
the story is presented very simply, like from the beginning. You have to go and kill Mara because she's a bad dictator. That's it. It's simple. Yeah.
Unlike
I'm
those
laughing-
good dictators out there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I'm trying to say the following thing. I'm laughing mostly because Mara, when the only time I remember the name Mara is from the Shin Megami Tensei series, where it's literally the Dick Chariot.
We lost everybody.
Yeah. Either
I know
way,
what you're referring to, Dan,
Yes.
and I'm sad that I know. Anyway,
it's so it's a simple story, of course, because it's set from like the first mission what you have to do, and you go do it, and
Stefan, you're not debating me right now.
Yeah, you're just adding.
I said it's bland. You're saying it's simple. We're
It's the
basically
same
on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the train? About
What
the
train?
Is there a story element?
no, the whole how the whole thing with the train is like. Oh, you have to chase the AI, and then you have to go to on train. The whole segment is kind of pointless, honestly, because it's literally the same copy. Is the whole model is the same as you? Why do you need a train to catch up to something like her?
Yeah, no, some things don't make sense.
If we're done on the story, we can just move on to our final thoughts. And
Yeah, actually, that's perfect. Poor Chobo died at the right moment. At the end.
I'll,
alright, well, I'll start.
I'll
Uh,
go- you wanna go first?
Yeah, I'll start. Final conclusion for me, it was he did that. Final conclusion for me, it's a pretty polished game. We already talked about its small issues, but other than that, really, it's a nicely made game. Even though it's not up my alley, neither on Eddie's alley. But the others liked it to lesser degree, some like Steven here to a larger one. Overall, I don't really have much to say because I didn't play a lot. But it's a good game for those who like a super action packs, fast paced, really what's the word I'm looking for? Punishing game in a way. Of course, excluding the good checkpoints, but still punishing because of the get hit once time mechanic.
I think he's back.
Maybe
ladies and
story for
gents.
me.
Yep.
Eugen?
My thoughts. Polished to some degree, like as we stated before, sometimes you fall off of walls, but that's not a deal breaker by any means. Good direction from the devs. I could tell they wanted to make this type of game. They succeeded. Not my cup of tea, sadly. Didn't really enjoy it that much. But I'm pretty sure people that like Super Meat Boy, Hotline Miami, other games that, as you said, Christy, are punishing to some extent, or maybe to the biggest extent, or people who love to master a mechanic or a specific type of mechanics in a game and then try to take it to their limits, as again stated earlier, I'm pretty sure they're gonna get a lot of mileage out of this one. So yeah, it's a good game, but I didn't like it.
Okay, I'm gonna go next. So I really like this game. As for my previous points, I found the story like pretty simple and at the some point really interesting. The inconsistencies in the mechanics didn't really ruin the experience, but even if they were frustrating at times. and yeah, I recommend it fully. So go play it.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry, my internet's down in the area again. RIP.
It's fine.
It's okay. We moved on to our final thoughts.
Yeah, no, I got to hear you guys about our thoughts. Am I the last one left?
Just say your-
Dan is also there.
Alright, you go first, then.
As with my peers, I would say it's a good game. Not my cup of tea, despite the fact that I finished Super Meat Boy on the highest difficulty. Although that was on a controller, I
Fair enough.
don't feel as if I'm gonna play this game in just so I can play the stages on a higher difficulty. Unlike, again, with Super Meat Boy.
Are there high difficulties?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
Oh
god.
no. I foresee something in Stefan's future.
I think.
And just
'Cause
thinking
I also-
about just thinking about this game, I'm starting to feel pain in my fingers because of the final level.
Yeah, that's right. This is acting up.
I also want to mention
Yeah.
I never played Hotline Miami or Super Meat Boy because I don't really like the art style. Like the only thing that's keeping me that kept me
Judging a book by its cover. You liked this
yeah.
game, you're gonna like those games too.
Yes.
No. Listen to me. I don't like that type of gameplay loop. Like the only thing that kept me like engaged was like the art style and like the music and all the
If
other.
you said the story, I would have shut myself.
Also a bit of the story, but whatever.
There you go. Oh, if you hear a gunshot in the background, folks, it's me.
Look, we've known Stefan for a long time. We know he has his opinions and they're usually wrong, so it's okay.
And lower
Yeah.
standards.
I'm the most correct out of all of you, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a friendly banter there for you gents. Alright, anything else to say, Dan? Regarding
Again,
your final
if
thoughts on
it- so the only thing that actually kept me entertained with the last 20 to 30% of the game was just me shouting lines from League of Legends from Master Yasuo and all that shit and blasting the Metal Gear Rising Revengeance OST to keep myself not smashing my keyboard.
Alright, gotcha. How about you, Chobo? You're the last one.
Alright, I'm the last one. Sorry for the audio quality, guys.
No
my,
worries.
My internet's still down, so I'm off of mobile right now. So, closing thoughts. I kind of enjoyed the game. I enjoyed basically 90% of the game. I didn't enjoy the bugs that I've encountered with wall running. I did not enjoy the final level, which I found just simply unfair in terms of difficulty and scaling, especially since most of the bugs happened during that one last level where everything kind of just started going through because of how difficult it was, and any mistake would actually cost you a fair bit of progress comparatively to any other level that you have in the game. Story-wise, I basically will forget it by tomorrow, basically. And when it comes to what we did with like the gameplay loop and the music, that was fantastic. All in all, for their first real release, I think they did well.
Great job for this.
Pretty solid game for a first release, gotta say.
Wish them luck
And-
for
Alright.
the future releases.
Alright.
Yeah, let's hope they do get better. That being
Go.
said, I think that was it for Game vs. Bias podcast for today. Join us next time where we will be looking at the game called Iron Harvest, which is an RTS game. This poses to be very interesting because we have at least one person who does not like RTS in this group.
Spoiler alert. It's me. I'm the suck.
Yep. Okay.
I'm the imposter among us.
Yeah.
That's
Before we end, any expectations you guys might have, those who haven't played it?
I saw gameplay on Toy look like Company of Heroes, so I'm expecting gameplay similar to that, which is nice. I enjoyed both 1 and 2 Company Heroes games. So yeah, I think I'll be
Yeah.
entertained. I hope.
I had the same idea and I did not like Company of Heroes 1 and 2.
Trouble.
So
Trouble,
this is gonna
your-
be interesting.
Your mic is acting up horribly with the whole paper.
Yeah,
Do not-
sorry about that.
Do not worry about it. Done. Your expectations.
I expect the AI to cheat.
Fair enough. What about you, Joe?
I've already started playing the game and I kind of like it. So,
Hey, wait, those are spoilers for next episode.
so
alright.
yeah, I just got
and,
to
The
keep
game,
that
he
close
is
to the
fine.
chest.
Yeah, and regarding myself, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be 3 episodes in a row the guy that just doesn't like the game that we're talking about for different reasons altogether.
Yeah, for the first part, but
Yeah, but still, I feel like I'm bringing negative energy. I'm really excited for a game that I'm gonna actually like, so I can praise it and just, as Stefan would say, simp over it over and over again for the entire duration of the podcast.
You're just negative Nancy right now. Come on.
Well, give me a good game to play,
One-
and then I'll be all chip and cheery, rainbows and sunshine all around. But
Well,
no,
we'll see when other games are being picked.
hopefully. I feel like I'm in Dante's Inferno, just slowly going down the levels. Now I'm at RTS. What's next? Fighting games? Please God,
Oh,
stop.
man. That'd be so funny if you choose
Or one of those meme games. I don't know. Oh God, or God forbid, a Futa game from Steam. Help me, Jesus.
Nope, that is yours.
Yep,
Good.
That's,
Twitch got my back, like always.
That's him,
All right.
officer.
Well-
That's a wrap.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's a
that-
wrap. As our host said, ladies and gents, this was episode 2 of Game vs. Bias. Hope we see you in 2 weeks' time. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.